my name is Donna, also known as Donna Janel, CEO and founder of Parenting with a Purpose. Our strive here at the podcast is to reach every home, whether single moms, married, single dads, whatever it is, foster parents, whatever, just bringing the ownership and responsibility and nobility back into parenting. Get comfortable with uncomfortable conversations. And all parents need some help and guidance, and I'm just here to be a guide. Hey everybody, welcome to Parenting with a Purpose. I am your host, Donna Janel. As you know, my strive and my goal is to bring back the responsibility, nobility, and beauty back into parenting. As you know, I tell y'all every week, parenting is a hard knock life out here for us, right? Parenting is not for the weak. I'm gonna stop saying that parenting is hard. I'm gonna say parenting is very challenging, okay? It's very challenging. And you and I know, as you guys are parents sitting out here, that especially if you're parenting teens right now, let's take a moment of silence for these teens, because I just don't know how much longer I could do it. I just don't know. You know, I got the two 16-year-olds and the one that's turning 18, and I don't know if it's them or if it's me. If it's them, I just don't know what's going on with them. They don't seem like they're the same kids that I've been raising. They just don't seem like they're the same kids. But anyway, I'm gonna get through it with your help, with Corkisha Pittman's help, with all everybody's been on my show. We gonna get through this, right? Because parenting, hushaba, all right? So, you know, I gotta tell y'all stories about the kids every week, you know, just trying to understand. Maybe y'all can help me understand, because I still don't understand. But, you know, I'm dealing with this, the one that tests my inner gangster. You know, we talk about her all the time. Y'all know I have 4 kids. But out of the 4 kids, my oldest is about to be 25, the 2 are about to be 16, and one's about to be 18. They're all turning another age next month. April and May, this was when all the transition is changing, right? So the one that's turning 16, I'm telling y'all, I promise y'all, I think she wake up in the morning to test me. I think she sleep at night and say, you know what, how I'm gonna get her today. I feel like that's what she does. She tests my inner gangster. So right now, the newest thing that she's doing, right, I got a call from the teacher. Miss Williams. Well, no, she ain't calling me Miss Williams, call me Miss Pittman. Miss Pittman, she was an hour late to class today. And I said, an hour late to class? How did she get an hour late to class? Now, mind you, my kids go to a military academy. It's a campus, but it's not like a huge college campus, y'all. It is literally, the buildings are right next to each other. You walk across the schoolyard and you're there. How's she hour? Well, she took her PSATs this morning. I said, oh, great. She said, she had lunch. I said, oh, great. So she did those things. And when she came an hour late to class, I asked her where she was. She said, I was talking to another teacher. I said, hour? She said, yeah, that's what I said. I said, okay, you was talking to another teacher. But when Miss Pittman, when I asked the teacher, she said that she was only talking to her for 3 minutes. I said, 3 minutes? Now, you told me she was an hour late for class. Oh, man, so now I'm you know, this is the one that keeps testing me, right? So I'm trying to understand. So she's telling me, you know, she's missed time, and then when she comes into class, she got 1,000,001 questions because she wasn't here. I said, okay, I'll handle that. Oh, no, when she asked me, this is the part, you know, and I want y'all parents to get this, because when our children do something, we're always trying to protect them and always trying to make sure that we're defending them, right? But as this teacher is giving me this information, I can tell that she didn't want to write her up. She was like, you know, I'm supposed to write her up, and I was like, do it, write her up. Right? She was like, huh? I said, write her up, because that's the only way she's going to learn. She should not have been an hour late for your class. Now, the classes are 80 minutes long. She was an hour late. I said, don't give her a pass. Write her up. Well, Miss Wayne, write her up, and you can put on there, per mother, she has been written up. So listen, here's the part. She comes home. I'm trying to be nice, y'all. She come home from soccer practice. Now she got soccer practice 4 days a week. Now, I told y'all that this is the one that tells me she need a break when she get home. Now, when I got home, chores had to be done, schoolwork, chores, and then you could do whatever. Not her. She need a break. Although her bus ride is 45 minutes, y'all, she had a break. She gets home. I come in the house. Hey, how you doing? I'm tired. Okay. How was school? It was good. I'm tired from soccer practice. I said, okay. You were missing from class for an hour. No, what do you mean? So then I gave her a blank stare. Oh, yes, I was with another teacher. I said, no, we verified that. You were a teacher for 3 minutes. Oh, when I was sitting in this area, and I said, ma'am? Oh, no, listen, I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't have went to the coordinator area. I went over there to do some work. I said, so you forgot you had a whole nother class? Like, you just decided not to go to class today. Well, no, I figured I need to do a work in another class. So I'm giving her the blank stare, because that's, what we do as parents. We give her the blank stare. And then I did like this. I held my chin, and I said, mm-hmm. So I'm sorry, I'm just going to do better. Like, I don't even have to say anything else. She's like, I'm sorry, I'm going to do better. But she's still in trouble, y'all. Like, all jokes aside, like, she's still in trouble because you just don't bounce out of class for an hour because you felt like you wanted to do something else. So that's the newest thing that she did. And that was just recently, yesterday. Now, I got another list, but I'm not going to go there today. Anyway, so, as parents, we are the bows, and our children are arrows, and they're going to land wherever we send them, right? They might not land today. They might clearly not today. They want to test my inner gangster. They might not land today. They might not land tomorrow. It might not be next year, a couple years, but eventually they will land wherever we aim them, as long as we give them the tools, right? As long as we dress them, as long as we don't send them outside naked, as long as we clothe our children with things that we know that they need to survive in this life, and not just survive, to thrive, they will land. Now, again, it's going to take some time because, as you know, we didn't land right away where our parents aimed us, but somehow we made it and we here, right? All right. So tonight, we're going to be talking about, before I even get into the show tonight, there was a situation I really wanted to bring attention to. I had read an article. Now, I'm always bringing y'all information, right? Just so that we as parents could be aware of what's going on with our kids and what's going on in the world, so that we can best be able to equip our kids. So I just read an article. There were 3 girls. They were about ages 9 through 11. They had went to a sleepover. And the sleepover, it was a mother and a father at the sleepover. And the family knew each other, because my kids ain't standing out of nobody's house, I don't know. But the families know each other. And what happened was, which is the craziest thing, y'all, the father made smoothies for all the girls, right? But what he did was he spiced them. I think that's what you call it. You spice them when you put alcohol in them. He put alcohol, and he actually put, there was another drug in there, kind of like Benadryl, used as a sedative, right? He put it in their drinks. One of the girls decided not to drink it. She was like, she acted like she drank it. She did not drink it. While they were downstairs in the basement sleep, she kept seeing the father of the house go up and down and push the girls and see if there was a wig. And the girls were very, they were high, basically. Whatever they were on, it was shown. So the one little girl, the 9-year-old, she's texting her parents 3:00 in the morning. She's not getting any answer for her parents, but she's texting them saying, please come get me. I'm not safe. And she's telling them what's happening. She didn't get her parents, but what she did was her parents' friend. She has their friend number, and she got a hold of them and said, if you text me and I don't answer, this is why it's going on, but please come get me, make up an excuse for us to leave. So the parents' friend contacted the parents, and they picked their children up. All the children went to the hospital, and they found out there was drugs in their system. This is why I'm telling y'all, it's so important to make sure our kids are safe. You don't know what goes on behind somebody else's door. You only know what goes on in your house. But even just teaching our kids the signs and symptoms of something that's going wrong when you're not with me. I thought that was so smart that the young lady knew not to drink it. Now, most kids, their adults are giving them drinks and stuff, like they thinking that it's okay, but something in her told her not to do it. And then she was able to reach out for help. She didn't just let it fly by. So again, if we put in our kids what they need, situations like this is going to be able to be taken care of because she recognized there was something going on. I just wanted to bring that attention to everybody so that we know where our kids are going, who our kids are with. And honestly, you can't trust everybody, even though these parents knew each other, but the parents didn't know that this man is going around here spiking drinks like 9 and 10-year-olds. That's insane. That is crazy. So anyway, come back, because their kids probably taken away from them. And they probably in foster care. I'm just saying. So tonight, everybody, we're going to be talking about foster care. Foster care is very near and dear in my heart for several reasons. But tonight I wanted to get into it because I read a study and it was saying that over 600,000 children enter the foster care system a year. More than half of those families are not reunited. So tonight our guest here is Corkisha Pittman. Hello. And I have her here because one, she's a foster mom. She has been a foster mom for a long time, and has several children. But I also brought her here because they're experiencing it, and then just also because, again, that number is high, 600,000 children who don't have their biological family a part of their life for whatever reason. So these kids still need love, nurturing, sense of belonging. They're still kids and they're still humans, so they still need all these things. So welcome to the show, Corkisha.
Hello, everyone.
All right. So we're just going to get into if you just tell us a little bit about yourself, like your upbringing, your career, what you do, parents, how you were raised, and then what got you into actually helping children.
All right. Well, Corkisha Pittman. I am the second of 3 children born to my mother and father, raised in a 2-parent household. Lots of love, caring, not the most money, but they did what they had to do, and we always were safe and well taken care of and had the best of life. Currently, a nurse, pediatric nurse.
Woo woo! I love that because I'm a pediatric nurse too, so I love it.
Absolutely. I've been in case management, pediatric care my whole career from college on up. I enjoy working with kids. I enjoy helping people. I got into foster care about 7 years ago in a dream that came to me, and I followed through with it, got up and read some scriptures and just prayed on it to make sure this is exactly where God was leading me to go. And the initial start of it was tricky because they asked for your entire life.
Yeah.
And I got that package in the mail and I was like, Lord, I must have heard you wrong. This can't be what you want me to do. But
that package is like a mortgage, like sign a mortgage, yes, right? That's a sick package. You're like, well, you ain't even asked the biological parents all these questions.
Did not. But you want my entire life in this little record. So once I got over the initial fear and shock of all of that, I did follow through with it and went through all the trainings and initially just thinking, okay, I'm going to get some kid and, I have a house with love because there's a lot of kids out there, as you said, that need love.
Right.
They need that supportive home, that parent, that adult that's going to just lead them and guide them. Not thinking it'll be a long-term thing. I'll just help some kids, get them on their feet, and then send them back home to their parents. But what I didn't anticipate was falling in love with these kids. And those kids becoming a part of my life and my family's lives. And,
right.
I didn't anticipate the impact that they would have on my life. I just thought what I would give them.
Right. Wow. And you know what? I think that's what I hear from a lot of people is that, you want to go in and you want to help, right? You want to do a service and you want to help. And the goal is always to be reunited, right? So it's like that's what they tell you that in training, like, listen, that they're going to reunite. But then, I think the heart of the matter is like you said, you fall in love with these kids and, you're nurturing them, you're raising them and you're doing all these and you're investing in them. And it is, I think if any person, it tugs on your heart.
It's the hardest thing. They became family. Everyone in my family, everyone in my community knew them. It was a village. My neighbors, my church family, my coworkers, everyone knew these kids and everyone, well, what can we do to help?
Right.
Let's give you this. We could do that for you. So it became a village. And they say it takes a village to raise a child. It really does.
Right.
It really does, whether they're your biological or your nieces and nephews, it takes a village.
It does. So Wow, because I think most people, and I think one of the things that when I think about foster care is that I just wish more people would do it. But then I also understand why they don't, because again, you get that attachment, right? You get that, it's the thing that they tell you don't. How do you tell humans not to attach to another human?
If you have a child living in your home for a period of time and you don't get attached to them, then I question your humanity.
Yeah.
How do you, because they're a child, so you need to love them.
Right.
You know, and again, they're giving you a certain amount of joy and a certain amount of love and reciprocation as well.
Right.
So how do you not grow attached to them? They become part of your routine. They become part of your life.
Yeah, definitely. I question that. You know, and you hear horror stories about foster homes, and then you hear some amazing stories. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in the horror stories that a lot of people shy away from them and back away from them, but not realizing that these kids still need help. And then because Jack and Jill did this, doesn't mean like Susie and Bobby's going to do this, you know?
Exactly.
You know, so I mean,
it's not the kid's fault. At the end of the day, I think we as adults have to realize that they are a product of their environment and their circumstances. They didn't ask to be here.
Right.
They didn't ask to be taken away from their parents. You know, but we have adults who are making decisions and involving the kids in, or I ain't gonna say involving their kids, but the kids are a reflection of the decisions that the adults made. Right. You know, they didn't have a say. They didn't have a choice. And some of them are angry. The older ones, the babies don't know. I had babies. They didn't know. But the older ones, they're bitter and they're resentful because I'm mad at my mom. But at the end of the day, that's still my mom.
Absolutely.
You're not my mom.
Yeah.
So don't tell me what to do. I have a mom. You know? So I think that, I know with me, that was part of the reluctancy in getting an older child. I wanted the babies because, again, they don't know. I can help them, get them back together, reunite them with their parents initially. This is what I thought I was going to be doing. But the older ones, I had that fear because there is that resentment and there's that anger. And I guess there's a fear of them coming to my house and me having to look over my shoulder. You're mad at me, and not mad at me, but you're mad at your situation and you're taking it out on me.
Yeah, I think with the older, you know, being a COSCA a court appointed special advocate for kids in foster care, I've seen all sides of it. But then I also reflect on myself. You know, there was a period of time when we were taken from my mom, and I remember being that angry kid. Like, I remember just like cursing people out, didn't like people. At that time, I had the whole thing. I ain't like humans. Humans was not my peoples, okay? I didn't get me around animals. And because of the hurt and pain that you deal with, like, because every kid still wants to be with their parent, no matter what their parent has done to them. Like, I mean,
that's still my dad.
Yeah, that's still my mom. And then a lot of times, particularly teenagers, we think that we can help our parents too. When they go through they need me, our parents, because after so long, you be like, they need me so they can do A, B, and C. And so then you have like this anger and stuff. And I see a lot of teenagers, but I also see that with teenagers, they are passed around in the foster care system. The placements are not stable for them because for several reasons. One is because not everybody can handle the attitude.
Teenagers.
Yeah, she just said the teenager. Yeah, because
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Listen,
and your own kid, teenager, is going to give you attitude,
right,
and disrespect, and talking back and challenge you. So if your own child is doing it, think about this child that has been passed around from house to house. Who do I trust?
Right.
Can I let my guard down? Am I safe here?
Yeah.
On top of the regular raging hormones and rebellion that your average teenager experience, they have extra stuff added on to them.
Right. And they get placed, and then they leave the places with trash bags and stuff like it. The whole the whole thing. I did a couple years ago one project for school. I think it was in psychology or something. I had did a study on children in foster care, and it was those who are aging out of foster care. What happens when they age out of foster care? Which they're pretty much that's the highest homeless population is children who are aged out of foster care. But I was thinking about it and I was reading it, and we were talking. A lot of it was talking about placement and really having a sense of belonging, and because that's one of the hierarchy of needs, right? Like a sense of belonging, and how situations where sometimes I question if it was better taking a child out of their biological environment and placing them in foster care, or was it better leaving them in their environment and they didn't have to deal with some of this crazy stuff that happens in foster care. Sometimes I wonder, like, if we're doing a disjustice to children or we're actually helping them. Kind of like, I question myself all the time, and I see cases where it helps. Like, I mean, there's some clear-cut cases. Listen, this just not going to work. Right. But then there's cases where you take them out of an environment what we deem to be harmful, and then you put them in a more harmful state. So it's
because you're either addressing one area or the other.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do take them out of that home that was unsafe or unfit for them, but then you put them in a different home, and again, with all the issues that they're coming with, they don't feel safe there, so now they're acting out more. So I can't handle this. Now they're going here. I can't handle this, so now they're going there. So they're bounced around, right. And it's that nature versus nurture. Like, am I providing them with everything that they need, even though they're fighting me back and they want it, but they don't. Maybe in part feel like they deserve it, or
right.
Maybe they just don't want it from you. They want it from their parents.
Right.
So they are going to be a little bit rebellious, but is my home better than the home that they came from?
Right.
Like, I guess because they're adults, you can't really teach the adult how to be a better parent or, get their stuff together. But
and that's the real focus, I think, because 600,000 kids a year goes through the foster care system. 600,000. That's a lot of kids, right? So we know that these kids didn't just create themselves. They didn't just come about, right? So it's like, that's one of the things that my aim is always to be, and my goal is to get to the parents, right? Because I'm a strong believer that if we repair quote unquote broken children and send them back to a broken home, they will be re-injured, right? Yeah. So it's like, at some point we got to start really investing in the parents, so that we can get these parents, so we can lessen the numbers, and parents have the tools to be able to raise their children properly, with safe and secure, with the resources. But at the same time, I do understand when it's just not possible.
You can't fix everyone.
Right.
So there are going to be certain circumstances where the kid, for the safety and the well-being of that child, I have to take you out.
Right.
I had one kid whose mom was doing everything she could just to keep a roof over her child's head. But for some reason, the kid wasn't supposed to be with her grandmother. I forget the story behind that. But mom got called into work. So who do you lean on?
Right.
Her mom. You took the kid over there. This kid, I ain't gonna say I don't know what her is. She cried a lot.
Okay. A lot.
A loud screeching cry.
Okay.
It took a lot to console her. Not in pain. Nothing was wrong with her. She just was one of them clingy kids that needed a lot of attention.
Okay.
And when she didn't get it, she had like a high-pitched squeal. So I'm assuming the neighbors heard this kid crying. Somehow the cops got involved. They came to the house. Because the kid was not supposed to be with the grandmom, they took her and put her in foster care.
Wow.
So she ended up with me. I knew that this was temporary. This mom boohooed and cried. Oh. What was she doing wrong?
Right.
She was working.
Yeah.
Trying to make a living for her and her daughter. She needed help.
Yeah.
That's what her mom was there for. Now, I forget the story again, why her mom couldn't have her, but it's little stuff. But it took that child coming to me. I had her for like 2-3 months, where she was reunited back with her mom. For that mom to get help,
Wow.
that city provided her with extra resources to help her get through her go through. But
Right.
it took her losing her child to get those resources. There has to be a way that these people can reach out and say,
Absolutely.
I need help.
Yeah, without the fear of you taking especially in the African American community, because there's such a I don't even such a disparity, right, in every health and financial. There's so many disparities, right, and that there's such a lack of trust for the government because long history of it, right, and. If I've seen it over time. If I'm reaching out to you, you're turning back on me that I'm not big, but I'm calling for your help.
Exactly.
So a lot of people are reluctant to really go for help, and then they end up in situations like this. Or if they did go for help, they didn't get the help. They didn't get the help. Like they're your kids, you got to deal with them. But yet, when something happened, now the state, they're your kids, right?
Yeah.
So I agree. They definitely has to be a way to have resources. I mean, honestly, frankly, listen, we building all these prisons. We doing all this stuff, of how to lock people up.
That's the government, though.
I really feel like that the government has to, and it has to be more voices to the government and say, listen, how about we just put some more resources out here for kids? Like, I understand basketball camps. I understand, but can we get to the parents? Can we, I get all these extra sports to keep our kids out of trouble, right? But at the same time, can parents get resources so that they can help keep their kids out of trouble, so they can best fit for them
without having to work 16 hours a day? Then you
right?
Don't have time to come home to your kids.
Absolutely.
To help them with anything. Yeah. The cost of living is going up, but pay increases aren't there, and food is expensive, so this little bit of money I'm making, I pay the bills, I buy the food. The economy just seems like it's...
And healthcare is going up. So you have parents who are, even if you're a 2-parent household, it's still a struggle, a challenge for everyone. I mean, food, just to put food. Listen, y'all know I got them teenagers.
You out of house and home.
Yeah, so remember growing up.
Seen food before.
Remember growing up, they said that what you gonna eat is out of house and home. I never understood. I'm like, how do you eat somebody out of house and home? Like this is done. Listen, I am on the break. When they were younger, I'm able to say assign snacks. These are the snacks that you get. These are now that they're 16. Listen, I don't understand. I don't even eat like that. So how can you?
Like they've never seen.
Yeah, and I know that they're growing, but at the same time, I'm constantly having a food conversation with my kids at the house, especially my son.
Oh yeah,
man. Now my son, he'll be 16 next month. This is a boy that was born premature, had a feeding tube, y'all, had trouble eating, had texture issues, everything. And you can't tell now. This boy is taller than me. I'm 5'8". He's taller than me, and he's walking around I'm like, did you just eat that? How many bananas did you have? Oh, well, today, probably 6. Why would you eat 6 bananas?
And sometimes it's not because they're hungry. It's just because it's there.
Yeah. You know what he tells me? I'll be bored. I'll be like,
the food is there. Why not eat it? So fill the house with a bunch of fruits and vegetables. Snack away.
And that's what my sister said. Why are you complaining that he eating all the fruit? Because that's what it is, fruits and vegetables. Why? But no, he can't eat 6 bananas in a day. That's just not going to work. She said, Donna, bananas 23 cents a pound. Yeah. Can you let him eat his banana?
Buy some more bananas.
Just buy, at least he's not trying to eat other stuff because I don't buy crazy. Yeah, I don't buy those things. So it is they're eating healthy stuff. But I'm just thinking, listen, so a couple months ago, right, on the show, I had asked my mom, because my kids was doing something. I'm telling you, they always doing something. And I don't have an issue with my kids, out on the street doing drugs, alcohol, anything else. They don't stay the night at friends' house. They don't even hang out with people outside of school. They're pretty busy, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't have an issue with that. And they tell me about people that they see vape or stuff like that. So we have a really good open communication. My biggest issue is they don't clean up, right? So, like, they eat me out of the household and they don't clean up. So that's my biggest issue. So I asked my mom, right? I said, Mom, when we were younger, when we was eating canned fruit and canned vegetables, was it because we was bad or you just couldn't afford it? Like, I'm trying to figure, because at this point, I don't want to buy fresh fruits or vegetables for my kids. I feel like they don't deserve fresh fruits.
Fresh fruit.
I was like, because they made me so mad. And I was like, I don't think they did. I got to spend all that money on fresh fruits and vegetables. How about I just give them canned?
You can't even do the basics.
Here's my mom. Don't get them canned food. Mom.
It was all right for us.
It was all right for us. Well, that's all we can afford, Donna. I'm like, Mom, I don't want to get... Do you know how much fresh fruit costs? And they made me mad.
Go to the produce store and get
Yeah,
the kids
and she
some
was
fresh fruit.
like, Donna, you can't do it. But I really did question that because I was, I was mad. So I was like, what can I do to punish them? Give them canned food. And they was like, so it's so funny because they've never had canned food. And here one of them, can you buy some more? I'm like, no, it's not healthy. It's not healthy. I only did it that day just to test.
I thought it was a treat. See? Backfired on you.
It was a test. Like the one that tested my inner gangster, like she could tell me, can you buy me some more oodles and noodles? Listen, I really did it because I was mad. And they was like, can we please have that? I'm like, it's not healthy. It's not healthy. But that's just like the stuff that we think about in our brain, like trying to figure out how to best handle this situation. And it's like, I really was like, Mom, was it because we was in trouble? Because I understand now. As you get older, you understand.
I get it.
I understand. But
Mom used to always say, when I would say, ask for some shit, like, because I said so. And I hated that. I hated it. That's the most liberating comment I could ever make at this point in my... Because I said so. What was sternness? Because I said so.
So I'm not gonna say I made the mistake, but I started right. I have open conversations with my kids, right? So everything is they have opinions, right? And because I want to make sure that I'm not dehumanizing them, right? That they really understand. But there are some points, like you said, like there's certain things that's just not a conversation, especially the one that tests my inner gangster. She thinks that everything is a negotiation. So she needs to tell me everything. But you got to hear this part. No, I don't want to hear it. So now with her, I mean, she's about to be 16. I'm like, listen, no. But no. I don't even let her finish the statement anymore because I know we're going to be here 25 minutes and we don't run around a circle for the same thing. And the answer is still no. And I feel like I don't need it because even when I explain it to you, you still want more explanation. So I get now, because I said so, I understand. You know what? Because I'm just not going to argue with like this. It's not.
I give you options. I give you choices. You are allowed to communicate and express yourself freely.
Yeah.
To a degree.
To a degree.
But certain topics, because I said so.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know, when I say to them, I'd be like, Mother knows best. That's my new thing.
I might have to try that one.
That's my new thing. Because I'm like, just not going to negotiate with you anymore and not going to have this conversation. And I'm like dirt tired. And you keep going on and I'm, my mother knows best. That's it. That ain't got nothing else to say. Conversation over. And you know what she does? Her eyes go up in her head and she turn around and walk out. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't even care. Now, back in the day, I probably would have jumped on her for them eyes. Like, who you rolling your eyes at? Because that's what grew up. Who you roll? But now, you know what? Go about in your room. It's okay. I'm not even fighting.
Roll them as you walk.
Yeah, roll them down the street. Like rolling like a river. Keep rolling. Be a Tina Turner today.
Exactly.
Rolling.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
Especially them teens. So let's talk about, so how old were the children in foster care that you had?
So I've had a couple of them, but they've all been babies. The very first one I got was 2 weeks, fresh out of the NICU. And I had her for 10 months. And then she was reunited with a cousin.
Oh, wow.
But she and I this is the one that I was just talking about because I said so. It's a village now.
Right.
So the cousin and I work well together and we try to give this child the best life possible. Helping her with school and, whatever she needs to be a fully functioning adult someday.
Right.
But I get every other weekend. We share holidays and vacations. And all
Wow.
Had a couple of them in between that may have lasted a couple of months or a couple of weeks before they were reunited.
Okay.
The last child I got her at 7 months, and I had her until she was almost 3.
Wow.
Yeah, and she was reunited with her maternal aunt.
Okay.
Yeah, so neither one of them went back to their biological parents, but they did go back to family.
Family.
Yeah, and the family is still. The first one, her dad is still very much involved.
Okay.
The last one I had, the mom is involved sometimes as well.
I like that. What I love about what you just said is that, that's here. Parent, it takes a village, right? It takes a village to raise children, and parents need a village too. Who don't we, y'all? But the fact that I like, because you've had these children for so long, and especially as they're growing up, like these are those nurturing years, right? They become attached to you. You become attached to them. And I think sometimes we separate that and you never see the child again. But the fact that you have relationship with them and join the village, like this is really a village, because I feel like the more hands, the better it is. Like, not one parent can do this alone. And I've been a mom about 25 years, y'all. Whew. I've been a mom, and the first 11 years I was married, but then these last 13 I have not. Well, actually this last 14 I have not been married. And not only I was raising my 2 biological children, but then my sister and her husband passed away, so then I had their 2 children. So went from 2 children to 4 in a single parent home. Even though I'm a nurse, even though I had, it still, was very hard. And not, again, when we talked about those resources, right? Not being able to get resources because, and what's the craziest thing I thought is not being able to get resources. The reason why they told me that I could not get extra resources for my girls, who were my sisters and her husbands, is because they were never in the foster care system. So because I avoided that whole system, went and got guardianship right away the next day after my sister transitioned, and I wanted to make sure that they never had to deal with the pain of foster care. But the state told me, if they get in our system, we could give them back to you, we can help you, but they have to be in our system.
Kinship care. And
I was like, they're not getting in your system. And so for years, it was challenging. However, like I said, they about to be 16 and 18 now. I've been rocking out for 10 years with them as a single mom. But I thought it was crazy that they said, listen, the only way I'll help you is you basically give them to us. What?
That chokehold on
you. Yeah, you got to be. You want me to give these kids who both parents are deceased,
put them in the system.
Put them in the system. We're trying to get kids out of the system. And I thought that was the craziest thing I ever heard. And I was like, oh no. And that's one of the other reasons why I started to get involved in foster care, to be a court-appointed special advocate for kids in foster care, because somebody has to advocate for these kids, and being that it's like I wasn't working for the state, like DIFAS or CPS or nothing, and I wasn't working for the parents. I literally was only working for the child. So I was kind of like a bridge. And let me tell you, I checked them. I checked the state and I checked the parents, because what we doing here?
Right.
And
you're advocating for the child.
Yeah.
Not for the system, not for the parents. And I think that's where the downfall is sometimes. The family reunification is good when appropriate.
When appropriate.
But I don't want to sound like I'm coming off the wrong way. Every parent doesn't deserve to get the child back.
Right. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I don't know how to say that without sounding negative, but we're advocating for these children, and it seems like the system is just, they're pawns. All right, let's close this case. They're just another case number.
Right.
Let's close this case. They're back with them. All right, move on to the next case, but you're not looking at the child as a person and not just a case number.
Right. And I think you said that well. Is basically not every parent has the capacity to be able to raise their children successfully, especially if they don't have the resources. And then there are some that you give the resources to, and for whatever reason, they choose otherwise. And we're going to have those people, right? However, really, I'm so big on resources. Like, let's
It would help.
But you know what? One of the things that I kind of see and kind of get frustrated sometimes, especially like babies, right? So the goal, at least for the state, is, by the age 2, they need to be in permanency. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. By age 2, that's the gold standard. By age 2, they need to be in permanency, or they should not be in care for no more than 2 years, because they give parents an opportunity. And there's just so many cases where you give them opportunity after opportunity, and I feel like it just drags out sometimes, and these kids are, I did have a family, though. I will say this, there was a baby. She was born with a Caucasian mother and a black, well, let me back up. The white family, they were married. There was a husband and wife, and there were multiple kids. They were married. The mother was addicted to drugs, like any drugs that you can name or makeup, right? So the baby was born with everything in her system, right? And the baby came out black. So the mom had the baby from her dealer, not from her husband. So the husband didn't want the baby in the house because this is a black baby. And so they couldn't let the baby home. Well, they couldn't let her home, first of all, because it was every drug in the system. But then once they let the baby home, so what they did was they let the baby with a neighbor across the street. A neighbor across the street. So it couldn't go in a physical household, but could live across the street.
So who released the baby to the neighbor across the street?
The state. When discharged, they released, it was one of those, a safety plan. You know those safety plans. Mm-hmm. So the baby went to the neighbor across the street, and then the mom wasn't allowed to be with the baby by herself. Mm-hmm. But there were instances where the neighbor allowed the baby to go to the house. And then, with that story ended up craziness, and the state ended up taking the baby totally. But this kid, she was my client, and I had her for almost 3 years, still in the system, because they kept giving the mother chance after chance after chance. But the interesting part is that, again, when we talk about disparities, right? I see, where a Caucasian mother will get so many chances, but then a black mother will not get it, because I've seen it with my own eyes. It's like, we've given this mom so many chances, and every time she come up, she got some dirty urine. It's always dirty. She's never, I witnessed sitting in there on a visit, because I would go to the visits because I'm trying to make sure that see what's going on. If this kid should be, I'm sitting in a visit and she is holding the baby sleep, because that's how high she was. There, we were in court, and the judge said to her, "Are you high now?" Right. And I'm like, how is this woman keep getting chance after chance after chance? Eventually, she did get adopted, but it just was a long process, and sometimes people give up on a process.
And that's so she was in foster care that entire time?
Yes.
That's very on the foster parent
to
have to keep going through that.
Yeah.
So you had asked earlier, we have 600,000 kids, and you wish more people would get involved, but it's stuff like that. Why are you giving this woman chance after chance when she has clearly shown you that she's not capable of caring?
Never had a
this
clean
child?
urine in 3 years.
3 years. So you're just going to keep putting me through, like I'm just a pawn in your little act, putting me back and forth through this.
Right.
Because this child deserves to be with her mother.
Right.
Her mother is not showing or trying to change to get her child back.
Right. Yeah.
But here I am every day caring for this child, protecting this child, feeding this child, I'm loving on this child, but you're putting me back and forth through the ringer.
Yeah.
For what reason?
Right. To say that you want this child. And that's what's the question earlier. It's like, are they better off with the bio family, or they are not? And in certain instances, they just don't have the capacity to do it. So
they don't. And there are people that try. They do everything that they can to get their kid back. For one reason or another, they still can't get them back.
Right.
But I'm trying. I'm meeting all your standards, and I'm going to all your meetings, and I'm doing everything you're asking me to do. Why can't I have my kid back?
Right.
And there's the other ones who you give 20 million chances to, and they're blatantly showing you, I don't want this.
Listen, we released a baby back into a parents that lived, a mom that lived in a hotel, a motel, right? And I was like, I couldn't understand it. Like, and they wanted me to go and make sure the motel was safe. First of all, the motel is across from a crack house. How do you want me? I can't tell you if the mom is going to go back on crack.
Leave the baby in the hotel one night while she goes across the street.
Like, I can't guarantee that. So it puts people in a crazy position. It's like, you want the best for your kid. And I'm always going to say, listen, this don't make no sense. It doesn't. But they ended up giving the baby back to the mom. And I was so hurt because I felt like this was not a good environment to be raising a child. Like, can we get the mom out of this environment?
Can we give her the resources that she needs to get up out of there to provide a better environment for her child?
Yes.
If your goal is family reunification.
Right.
Was the outcome positive?
It was. It ended up, the mom, she got herself together. But not a lot of cases, that's not the case. So I think even though, kids, man, they just need love. They need nurture. They need a sense of belonging. They need safety. There's so many things they need. And if we can resource more parents, we can get those things. So I like the foster care system. I like the thought of it. Just like with everything, we need tweaks. Because I will tell you that during COVID, we lost a lot of children. And it wasn't to COVID, through abuse, through neglect. Because when kids were in school, people were able to see them. They were fed. They were able to recognize abuse. But when these kids were home, dealing with the day in, day out of parents who weren't able to do it before COVID, now in COVID may not even have a job, and just the stressors of parenting, there were a lot of children's lives were taken. And that's when I was like, tag, man, if the system knew, they would have got them kids out the house, right? Because that's when I'm like, okay, wow. So I do see the point of the system. I do see it. But I also just wish that there was a better way to equip parents so that it could be less in the system, and those who do come to the system are able to be adopted, if not reunited, at an early state. So that,
I think when you look at it, it's pros and cons to everything.
Right.
The system is designed to be of help, but part of the con is it's too many kids.
Right.
Not enough help.
Yeah.
600,000 kids, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
So there has to be a happy medium somewhere.
Right.
Because I had this awesome program designed to help kids, and I'm sure whoever originally came up with foster care, there was this ultimate goal in mind to just help kids and reunite some or provide a home for others.
Right.
But then we got inundated with more and more kids and not enough resources and places for them to go.
Right.
Some of them can't go back with families, as we already said.
Yeah.
Some of them go with foster families and it don't work out, so then they're back in the system.
Yeah.
I was down to 10, now I'm back up to 12. All right.
Right.
So the number just keeps growing, but there's no way to outsource them. There's nowhere for them to go.
Right.
And that's when we run into problems.
Yeah.
I don't know how to remedy that, what the solution to that is, but back in the 30s, 40s, maybe even before then, they had orphan homes. And we got away with that.
Right.
Kids don't deserve to be institutionalized.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
So now they're not all living in an orphan home. We're trying to find individual homes. And it's just not enough.
It's not enough. And listen, as we just said, it's hard to take care of our own kids. I'm trying to tell
That
you.
too is a problem.
I remember, like, I said I wanted to have a group home, right? Particularly with teenagers now. I really wanted to have a group home because it seemed like I could relate and I could understand them. And again, a lot of people wanted babies. Not a lot of people want the teenage years. And I said I wanted a group home. But let me tell you, once I got my girls, and then I had 4 kids in the house at the same time, guess what? No. Because it is so...
It sounds good.
It sounds
but
good.
The reality of it is...
It's hard.
It would take more than you to do it. So now you got to get a house. You got to structure that house. And you got to get, I'm going to say staff to run the house. Because
But
you can't do that by yourself.
In order to meet all their needs, it is... so this whole village, it takes a village to raise children, and parents need a village is so true. So how do we, do you think that you would foster again?
My heart says yes. Sometimes my mind says no.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm still involved with 2 of them
Yeah.
I had. So I'll always have them.
Right.
The idea of starting over with a baby? Absolutely not. The days are going, the midnight feedings, the diaper changes,
Right.
the diaper bags. We way behind that stage in life. The teenagers scare me
Yeah.
because I'm a single woman, and I don't want to be looking over my shoulder
Right.
because you upset with me and I got to hide my knives, or you accuse me of doing something because you were mad at me.
Right.
And I already said, I'm a pediatric nurse.
Uh-huh.
That's my career on the line.
Absolutely.
And kids, they do that. They get mad at you and they lie and say, well, she did this to me. And I never did.
Yeah.
But it has to be investigated. And,
And it's a
so
lot. It was a group of 6 kids. It was a torture case, right? And it was from the grandmom. The grandparents adopted them and was torturing them. So, the kids were taken away and everything, and they were dispersed to different homes. The 2 boys were somewhere, and then the 4 girls was somewhere. Actually, it's 5 kids, 3 girls was somewhere. And they were in a good home, a foster home, and the teenager, again, teenagers are going to be teenagers, just couldn't get along, and they had separated from her siblings and had bounced her to different places. But this one particular foster mom, she ended up getting her. It was supposed to be a respite, and she ended up getting her, and she was 16, and she done so well with her that she actually adopted her. Right now, 16-year-olds don't get adopted in the system, right? I forgot it's something unadoptable or something they call them. But what I loved about this mom, and this is a single mom, and God-fearing mom, single mom, and not only did she take her right over a little bit of time, she went and got her other 2 siblings. So the other girls who were, I think they're now 8 and 12, maybe. So 17. 8 and 12 and 8, I think that's what they are. But anyway, she adopted all of them, right?
They were able to. They're still together now.
Yeah, they are still together. She's raising them on her own, and she just adopted a baby too from the system. She was fostering him for 2 years, so she ended up adopting him. And then, what I love about her is that what she did was, even the sibling that she didn't adopt, the boy. One of them is now over 18, but the other one, who was, I think, 17, she allows him to come over. So that's her son too, even though he lives in the system. He's still in foster care, but they had like family nights and things like that. And they're the kind of people we need in foster care, right? They're the kind of people who understand what love and nurturing is. And even though not everybody has the capacity to raise teens, listen, but I feel like sometimes in teens, they get such a bad rap, right, because of the things that come with them. But it just takes certain people to really get to that child, for them to really, because everybody said no about a 16-year-old. Like, nobody. But the fact that she took her in and then she adopted her, and it's such a beautiful family.
I always feel like God will equip you with what you need, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping it, and my prayer is that more people do foster, because and then adopt if necessary. Make forever homes. Everybody wants a sense of belonging.
That's it.
And I feel like the earlier you get it, the stronger your foundation is. And these kids won't repeat the cycle, won't deal with a lot of things. I was speaking with a group of teen moms last Friday in Mount Holly, New Jersey, and a group of teen moms, as a teen, 14 through 16 was this group. And you know what the interesting part, and I think what was even more sad, it tugged on my heart, is that these kids are in the foster care system. These kids are in group homes. So it's like they've been through whatever they've been through with their parents, and for whatever reason, they became promiscuous. They became, because these are the results that we see, that a lot of kids that are in foster care, particularly teenagers, they end up having babies at a young age, and they're repeating it, though, having multiple babies. And I just thought about, like, wow, had these children been, teenagers going to have babies, though. That's what it is. But just to be sitting in a room with a group of them, and they were just lost, and they were just kind of hopeless because they're in the system.
They're looking for something.
And then now they have a baby, and they don't want their baby to end up in a system, right? So that they're really trying to figure out this parenting thing at 14. So that they don't repeat this cycle.
They already have going on.
Right.
Now you're a parent and you're trying to
learn
learn things that were never taught to you.
Right. So I think God for programs that are out there that are actually trying to it is. Resources. Yeah, the resources. That's what we're talking about, these resources. How do we get these resources in the hands of the people? How do we stop building prisons and build communities? And I think that's really the answer. But I also feel like at some point we can't rely on the government to do it for us. So as we said earlier, it takes a village to raise children. Like, the government didn't tell you to go continue to be with that family, right? None of those families. They didn't say build a village. They didn't say, they're like, okay, you gave them back. That's them. Mm-hmm. But because of your heart and because of the heart of people and understanding that for the love of the child, we need to build a village because we want this child to be successful. If we have more people say, okay, I understand what you say. However, for the love of the child, we need to be able to build a community. So that's my prayer. That's one of my desires, is that we can really equip parents to take care of their children and equip the parents who want to be parents to take care of the children. And just really resource people, just trying to figure out what's the greatest need, and really
even starting like with your program you just did with those teenagers. Mm-hmm. Starting classes, like, do they even still do home economics in school?
Man, I remember that. We learned so much at home ec. Like,
just basic learning how to measure, cook food for them, and how to balance a checkbook, and how to go grocery shopping, and how to clean, and how to sew, and basic skills like that, survival skills.
Absolutely.
That will help you to help your child so that you don't end up repeating the cycle.
Right.
You may not get the fanciest job or make a whole lot of money, but you have basic resources that you can provide for your child. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Basic stuff like that. We need to just go back to the basics.
Right. I think that is so, that's really good. I had another speaking engagement, shout out to Making a Change Group in Chester. I had the opportunity to speak to about 30 parents, and we were literally talking about like different things like morals and stuff like that, and just equipping parents. Like, Making a Change Group, they do a lot of things with the youth, but they have cohorts where they have parents be educated for certain things, and so I think that was such a great opportunity, and I'm actually going back again April the 9th to the group of parents. But little bit at a time, like here, a cohort of parents getting together, trying to figure out the best that they can do, and giving them the resources. And then I also, on the second Saturday every month, I have a parenting village. It it takes a village to raise children. It takes a village to raise parents. Like, parents need a village too. I still need a village. I'm telling you, because, them kids.
Make you feel like you're not in this thing alone.
Yes.
Because Susie and Johnny going through the same thing you
right. Like these kids, they gonna be kids, and we gonna be parents, all right?
Yeah.
But just like certain things, like I'm trying to put my best out there to do something, even though it's only once a month, but it's a time. Like, come on in. It's on Zoom. Make it on Zoom, so that it's on Zoom the second Saturday of the month. So let's talk about what we're not talking about in a safe environment where you're not being judged, and that the state ain't coming in and talk about, why you do this or why you do that. Really, let's talk about it, because there's so many parents. Again, a lot of us share some of the same experiences, and if we don't talk about it, we don't know about it.
And it was so taboo, I think, at one point in time, to admit that you were struggling with your kid. But if you don't talk about it, then you don't realize you're not the only one struggling.
Right.
But whatever you're going through or went through, you might can help me.
Absolutely.
Get through my go through. That way I can help the next person. But if we all walk around acting like life is so great, the kids are so wonderful, it's a facade.
Yeah. And nothing
we all
is done.
struggling in one way or another with these kids. So it's good to have those resources and those people that you can talk to and bounce ideas off of. And if nothing else, vent.
Yeah.
I just have to get it off my chest. I still love them. I just don't like them right now. I just got to get away from these kids right now. Right. But then once you get it off your chest and someone says, you know what? My daughter did the same thing. And I tried this. Oh, yeah, I'm going to try that. Like, mother knows best.
Yeah.
I'm going to try that.
Yes,
see if that
mother
works
knows
for
best.
me. But if you don't talk about it and get it out there, then you're never going to get help. Things are never going to change. People are always going to walk around in this cloud like life is so peachy keen. But you're never going to get to the real issues and get help and, resources, whatever that you need if you don't talk about things.
That is so important, because one of the kids, the one that touched my inner gangster, I was asking her, I was like, how do we become better parents? How do we communicate? How do we, and she says, let us talk to us. So communication and talking, like not just you, listening, listening to each other and listen to other parents. Like you said, really, listen, I've been doing this parenting thing for a while, and I hear stuff from other parents. I'd be like, for real? Oh, I'm gonna try that. Like, or I give information or whatever. So it does work if we just continue to be a village and a team. Well, our time is up. Can you believe our time is up? Thank you so much for coming on the show. It was a great conversation, and I think that opened up a lot of questions that people have about foster care, or questions about if they want to get into it or don't want to get into it, and actually the need for it as well. And I think the transparency about getting attached to the children was real because, and you said something that was it hit me when you said, I would question if you would not get attached, because we're human. Yeah.
How do you have someone in your house and not get attached?
And you're not,
You have a dog in your house. You won't get attached to that dog. How do you not get attached to a kid?
Right. So I think that opened up a lot of conversation, and I think we can still have more conversation in regards to this, because it's definitely a needed conversation. Listen, y'all know here at Parenting with a Purpose, we talk about what we don't want to talk about, right? We have engaging conversations, because honestly, in order for people to grow, we got to get into it, because the goal is for us to parent the best way possible, right? Giving our children the best thing possible. And it's not necessarily, again, we're not talking about material stuff, right? Because we just need can we get the basic needs, right? Love, security, belonging, nurturing, those things that are so vital in child development. I think that people don't really understand how vital these things are for child development, for growth and maturity. So I thank you for the conversation today. My hope is that people would do more. People do more. Communities resource more. figure this out, come together, be unified, be a team, so that we can best help our children. You know, there's a saying that children are the future. I feel like children are now. Can we do it? We got to get these kids now so that they can have a future.
Yeah.
So if we can start tapping into resources and resourcing people so that they can better help raise their children. Again, parents are the bows and children are the arrows, and they will land wherever we aim them, as long as we equip them, give them the tools that they need to survive and be successful. And whatever success looks like in your family, you know, my success is not your success. We have different goals, dreams, and aspirations, but I believe at the end of the day, we all want our children to do well, period. We want our children to be safe, secure, and able to live the life that they would love to live successfully, without harm or danger. So join me next week, again, Parenting with a Purpose. I am your host, Donna Janel. Have a great night.